Hey, this is Tamago. Welcome back to Railing. In the previous episode, we finally got out of the water onto the surface and built the station over here called Tradesville behind me. And we also continued the rail lines all the way to the Mesa area, but we haven't finished the building yet, so that's what we'll be starting off today with. Alright, so for the block palette, I decided to use a bunch of oak here because we are in an oak area again. We were in a plains village that was using an oak block palette, so I decided to go with that. Now, yeah, I got all this oak by tree farming a while back. So it was at the main base with the tree farm we made in episode 10. But yeah, as usual, I was just trying to follow the curvature of the area. Fortunately, most of this is on land, so there was no bridge required. It was just me filling up the floor there with some oak. And down the middle, I was thinking of doing something with blue, right? Because that's what the Explorer's line color is, but too expensive. So I just used some chiseled stone bricks that I had laying around, just as a bit of an accent and to add the torches there in the middle to add some lighting in the dark. And those three pillars will be where one edge of the bridge would be. And finally, I just lined the edges with some cobblestone, adding some texture and different color again. It looks a bit more vanilla than I want it to be, contrasting with the electric trains, but it is what it is. I think it looks all right. Next up is the bridge over this body of water, which I believe is 2 rivers. But yeah, it's quite big, hence the relatively long bridge. But the main material I'm using for this bridge is the station colored glass from the MTR mod, specifically the half slab version, because in this mod pack, that's the only glass slab there is. But yeah, I chose that because I wanted the light to go through during the day underneath the bridge. I don't like when bridges create dark spots underneath it. So yeah, I can keep it nice and light under there without having to put any additional light sources. And similarly to before, I just have the chilled stone bricks going through the middle to add a bit of structure, and that's where I place my torches. Over here, I am similarly lining the bridge, but this case with some oak planks to match the pillars made out of oak wood logs. And also added some cobblestone slabs there when the height isn't tall enough to act as a siding. Last but not least, we have the pillars. First time I tried to have them evenly spaced, but what ends up happening is that first set of pillars goes really deep into the water, which took up a lot of wood. So I tried to avoid that the second time around here, learning from my mistake by instead creating a cable stayed bridge similar to the one that you see in the Iron Savannah. In this case, the cables are made out of cobblestone walls because that's what I have in handy and that's what the block palette is. But yeah, there are 3 pillars in each group because this is quite a big structure and I wanted to have some integrity to it. And the technique I'm using here to make these cables is just following the edges of the bridge and just going up every, however many blocks, just a rough estimate. And the last finishing touch here is just to add some lanterns underneath the bridge to light up the pillars during the night. And some torches on fences on the tall pillars of the bridge. After that long, slopey, curvy bridge, we have a bit of a building break here with a flatter area and straight tracks, which obviously works better with Minecraft blocks. The bridge here is barely touching one of the villager houses there, the roof. But anyway, I'm using a similar block palette as before, just continuing it. But we have a much simpler pillar design. It's roughly evenly spaced throughout because in terms of integrity, we are not suspended at very high heights, so I thought this would suffice for what we're doing. After this, we are curving to the left, and I decided to change up the block palette a bit, still similar, but we're using stone bricks and oak slabs here, just to vary it up so I have something to talk about here. But yeah, similar. This is more similar in design to the bridge you see between the Iron Savannah and the Jungle Islands interchange station with the stone bricks. Next up, I am changing it up because we are officially into the Mesa biome. Decided to try out some red sandstone because they've been lying around in my shulker box for a while, specifically the sand. And I thought it would be a good time to use now with a very red sand around the area. In the middle there, instead of chiseled stone bricks, we have some white terracotta for an accent. And on the sides, on the left and the right, we have some yellow terracotta. Kind of like the road lines, you see on a highway, coincidentally. And because I really wanted to keep that yellow color over there, I decided to just dot out some stone slabs on the top as some guard rails. And for the pillars, I used some regular sandstone to contrast the red, which I think looks pretty nice. And you see on the places where I placed the lanterns and the lights, there is a different color of terracotta to indicate where the lights are. But yeah, we're finally here at the next station, so let's get on to working on that, shall we? Alright, the very first thing I'm going to do is to put down the platform tracks first, because that is a good indication for where our building should go. So usually we would make it 20 blocks long, which is that long. And I gathered some sandstone here before, and I think I will use the same palette as the bridge that we had before. So we're going to have sandstone pillars over here, as well as yellow terracotta to line the sides. It also functions nicely as a, what do you call it, stand behind this line, because yellow is one of the common colors for that. So the idea I had was to have this sandstone as most of the pillars, the regular sandstone, to contrast all the red. And through the windows, which are probably going to be mostly open, we're going to see a bunch of red in the area. So it balances out nicely that way, I think. And we're going to have white terracotta to the middle like we had before. And perhaps some torches in the middle. We'll figure it out in a bit. And we have 2 rail nodes left, which is perfect. But that would be where our platforms would go. Like so. And this time I think I want to have the concourse at the bottom. Similar to the Iron Savannah, because we are quite high off the ground. So we're going to use some glass here to let some natural light through. Actually, let's do upper half slabs, because that makes more sense for the rails to sit on. But yeah, these are stationed colored glass again from the Minecraft Transit Railway mod. So we will be able to set the color on the railway dashboard. At this point, I probably should put some scaffolding on the side, given that this is way off the ground. Oh yeah, one detail I forgot was we need to have the platforms 1 block higher, because the train wheels do take up 1 block. So I guess we don't exactly have the yellow as that line, but we still have that neon yellow on top of these on these platform blocks, the Hong Kong variant. I'll quickly put a temporary rail node over here and do Jonathan's signature turn back thing. But yeah, this will extend all the way back there for the final station, which is at the Mushroom Island. And over there we will actually have a proper turn back, but yeah, not here. But now that we have that set up, we can go into our map. Look at our bridge over here. We can go into our map, we can draw out our station. So add station over here. And we're going to call this the Cliffside Mesa, as suggested by Mayo on Discord. It sounds better, I guess. Mesa Cliffside, I think, is more technically accurate, because that is what it is, but it doesn't sound as good. And all these people, stop making noise. Come here. I don't know why these guys always disturb me once in a while. I think that's how they're programmed, right? This is a very, very bright blue though. We're going to tone down the saturation a bit by going into here and just choosing a less saturated blue. Hopefully it doesn't look as jarring now. There you go. But yeah, there's a nice contrast to the very, very orange mesa biome. But yeah, after drawing out the station area, we are going to give names to our platforms. I'm pretty sure the direction going towards the Mushroom Island is 1, so we'll keep it that way. And then for the direction going to base other side, that would be platform number 2. And with that, we can definitely add to the routes now. So westbound is going to the left. So if we edit this using that button, we can add this stop over here. And then we can edit the Tradesville custom message or destination. There you go, to be nothing. And put that into the Cliffside Mesa so that it will say do not board when we reach here. And then for the other route, eastbound, which is to base other side, we are going to add number 2, platform number 2, all the way to the very top. And yeah, there's nothing to change over here. Probably should put that custom destination here as well, actually. It seems that I never remember to do that on base other side. But there you go. That is basically that whole thing set up, and we just have to refresh routes, I think, in the depot. Ooh, we have a problem. We don't have a route between Cliffside Mesa and back there. Okay, we must have messed up the rail somewhere. All right, let's see. So we are going in this direction, and aha. That doesn't look right. So yeah, I'm using one directional rails to avoid the wrong route as we previously had. But it is just one minor mistake with this little path, and hopefully that's the only mistake. Yep, there you go. So sooner or later, we should have some trains coming. Perfect. But yeah, this was the area I did some terracotta mining, I'm pretty sure. There's two areas, and this is one of them. Another one is over there, and that shelf there. Is that called a shelf? I don't know. There's just an empty hole there where I mined. But yeah, that's why that is here. But we will use that to our advantage. Probably have some escalators over here. But yeah, there is a train arriving. Just to check that it works. Awesome. Uh-oh. That pillar may be a bit problematic. Actually, you know what? That curve was too tight and problematic. So we will give a bit more space over here and push this whole section back by 7 blocks maybe. And I think if I give like 2 blocks clearance here and try to connect this to here, it would be a bit smoother. No, it's just roughly the same. Well, I think it's still a bit smoother, and I think we'll have to we have to say that's good enough for now. But yeah, lesson learned. It's not only about making it look a bit more realistic, but it does actually matter for curves like these. So 20 blocks is now that much, so it would be all the way back here. So let's give this another try and see how we go. I do want to put pillars in the middle, so let's just let the trains run through and make sure that we don't put pillars right when there are doors. Alright, and it seems that the perfect location for a pillar would be in between the carriages, which is somewhere over here. So we'll move the pillar over there. Okay, I think we are finally done with some last minute tweaks over here, so let's actually get to the replay modding and build the station up. Okay, so first things first, I wanted to note that I shifted the pillar on the platform to the direction of base other side because the asymmetry in where the middle of the train is in opposite directions, because the train stops at the beginning of the platform tracks instead of the middle. So we have a bit of an asymmetry in the building as well, but you know, as Ito said, that's what makes a building unique, right? To get up to the platforms, we are going to be using escalators. So I just punched a hole through the sandstone floor that I am using for the platforms, as you see over here. For the ceiling of the platforms, I chose something similar as to the ones over the rails. So just some lines of terracotta, in this case light gray, I'm pretty sure, and interleaved some white in case that the area is underneath the hill. Otherwise, you have some glass as you see over there. Also, over the tracks, as you see above there, I initially wanted to have some proper hanging lanterns, but there wasn't enough clearance at the ceiling, so I just used a similar trick as in Tradesville to put a slab on top of there so that the lantern can be flush with the wall. But yes, over here you see more clearly what the roof design is for the platforms. We have some of the station color glass interleaved with the light gray stained terracotta, I believe. And we have some glass fences as the railings. Much easier to build than the than the walls behind there. For some light, I placed some lanterns at regular intervals as you see over here. I used them relatively generously, as you will see later on this middle floor as well, because it's quite a high ceiling, so the light doesn't travel as much as it usually does. And as you see on this second floor, we have some regular good old terracotta with no color because the ceiling is already quite vibrant, as you see over here, with the yellow stained terracotta and the red sandstone slabs above. You can also see the walls for this level, and for the platforms above before, it's just some red and orange terracotta arranged in some patterns before it was lines. And on the second floor, we had some just blobs, I guess, triangles of that. I tried to use as much blocks from the surrounding area so that the station blends in with the environment instead of sticking out. But yes, here again you see some of the line patterns with those blocks. And the floor I decided to just leave as is because I thought it looked fine. Definitely an organic feeling with those shapes of the terracotta on the floor. Alright, so I came back into first person because I wanted to do the concourse with you, as well as these escalators. So I did all of them except for this just to demonstrate. So we just have 2 blocks in the beginning that are flat to start off. And then we just go up in a staircase fashion with some kind of temporary block, or in this case, I am choosing to make it permanent because I think it looks all right. And 2 at the top as well, and there you go. It forms like so. And if it doesn't form, you can try to smack it with a brush or try all over again if that still doesn't work. But yeah, there's a stopping state over here, which we will leave it now because we are not using it yet. But anyway, back down here, I want to decorate the ceiling with some light because it's quite dark in here. But yeah, I had to go to the nether real quick because I ran out of glowstone. Because I do want to use these ceiling blocks from the Minecraft Transit Railway mod. So I made it some iron and some glowstone. This area is all very, very red. So just to add a little bit of... Okay, that's not very green, is it? But I do want to add a bit of greenery in here. But yes, you have the automatic ceilings, which are meant to be placed in like by themselves, just like this. But I will use the manual ones because I do want to use these leaves. So I think I'll have one row of light, one off, and one light to get. So to convert them to the non-auto versions, you just put them in an inventory grid, like so. And to get the no light, you just put it in the, not inventory, what? Crafting grid again. I really don't like the part of the ceiling that is exposing the bottom part of the escalator. Probably going to try to cover it up with some leaves like that. And I think there are just too many leaves here, so let's just remove some of it. And I think the rest of my leaves are inside of the shulker boxes, not in the Tom symbol storage system. Yeah, here they are. Jungle leaves, that's alright. Oh, well, there's some oak. It's really hard to do lighting tasks when it's like in the middle of the day because you don't know how bright is bright enough. But I'll try to place these ceilings through the middle here, because that's when it was a bit dark, and that's where we have the other lighting here. And don't worry about overdoing it. You can always cycle it back to the automatic as you see. So it's a nice cyclic crafting mechanism that is commonly used in the MTR mod for variations of a block. Might be nice as well to break up the middle there with some light. This one's an interesting bit because we do switch sides here. Not switch sides, just translate by one block. So I guess we do something like that. And another row of light through the middle because it seems that it would probably be too dark. We also have these slabs besides the escalator blocks because otherwise the lighting will glitch out because they're next to a full block, so they just become dark and it's not very nice to see. So we're going to cover more of that with some leaves. And I don't think there should be ceiling blocks here where the escalator goes through. Okay, and that should be good to go. Looking much more like a station now. I think I might want to dot some of these randomly around throughout the station. I'm going to try to make it follow this like line pattern that I've been using around the area. It's just some random lines going in some directions, random directions as well. And hopefully with this you won't even notice that I am trying to hide some stuff in the ceiling. And last but not least, this should be the last section with these lines. Just pick up those ceiling blocks that are slightly stuck on the ceiling for some reason. They're probably caught in the hitbox of that which is slightly lower. There's like a little space above it. But there you go. And perfect timing, it just turned night. And it seems that this is very, very adequate after removing all of the temporary torches. Might even get rid of these actually. Not even necessary. There you go. Very nice and bright. Alright, and now let's get into the MTR station elements. The fun part, you could say. So I think I'll only make this half the entrance because, well, first of all, this escalator thing is slightly too close to this area. And second of all, this is already very big. We don't need that many entrances, right? But yeah, ticket barriers, once you have the entrance ones, which is that recipe, you can convert them into the exit ones over here in the crafting grid once more. So I think 4 entrances, 4 exits. So we have 1 staff entrance in the middle. That's one nice thing as well about this side. It is odd. I think this is even. But yeah, we have our iron trap door, 2 pressure plates on both sides. So I think we'll make some glass fences over here so people cannot fair evade. And then we can stick some ticket machines against this wall. Let's say over here. There you go. Maybe that's too much. I think 3 would be good. And then on the inside, because this is such an empty space, I will add some seating around this area like so. Since we already have leaves, why not we try something different? Let's say flowers. We have some blue flowers. Like, we could probably place some flower pots over here. And maybe some along the wall as well. But yeah, I'm just smelting some bricks here because I am out of bricks, I think. But yeah, let's just grab some flower pots and... Ooh, I forgot what those blue flowers are called. I guess we have blue orchids. And we have the dark blue one as well, right? How do you make this? Yeah, cornflowers. Well, don't have much of that, so let's just use these first. There you go. Very nice. But yeah, you could imagine this area, people coming out from this escalator going down, right? I was actually confused which one to set it, but with this setup, it now makes sense, right? People will go out this way, out from here, and people will enter this way into this escalator over here. But yeah, I think for now, I'll leave that as is, the base floor. And let's move on to the next ones. And actually, I will do something similar by adding some chairs in the out of the way areas like this. And perhaps some flowers as well over in the corners opposite to the chairs so they could actually be seen. Like that. But yeah, I guess for the escalator directions over here, it doesn't really matter too much. But I guess let's have it go upwards near where the front of the train would be. I guess that makes the most sense to me. There you go. All right, so people sitting here, when they're ready to go, you could just go over here, upstairs, and off they go. And I think we may have just a bit more seating over here. Oh yeah, and how could I forget to put boundaries over here so people don't fall off? Okay, there you go. And now for some signage. Usually I would have the MTR logo and some black stone to indicate the station. I guess we could try to put it in this pillar. I don't know how it would look, but let's see. There you go. I think it looks all right. Let's replicate that over here. There you go. And then we can add some route signs over here on both sides. Oh, look at the symmetry. Awesome. And then this would be platform number 2 to base other side. There you go. Oh boy. It does feel good when this whole thing pops up now. All right, now that's all set. Let's add just a couple more flowers in this corner here. There you go. And I guess, yeah, we do not add them in the other corners because they all have glass fences. Okay, next up are the passenger information displays, which I always get wrong in terms of orientation. See? Oh yeah, I do want the three arrivals version. I think it's this way now. Nope. This way. There you go. Luckily, I caught myself not resuming the recording after pausing, but yep. There's the PID over there on the other side, and just some more route signs to help people navigate which way they want to go. And down on the outside, there are also some more route signs, so people can decide whether they want to enter in or not. But yeah, now with that done, time for an exciting part, at least for me, which is signage. Which also means I need to make a lot of planks and signs. First of all, I do want to put the station name, maybe something like that, Cliffside Mesa. Actually, let's place it up here because it is going to get blocked by some things if we put it down there. We are going to put signage over here. So I think I do want the 4E or 5E, I think would be nice. So like somewhere over here. And we have some of these railway poles like that. There you go. And brush, this is entrance to the station for some trains. And this is a do not enter. And now I need to think of an exit name. Let's go to the dashboard first. So we go to Cliffside Mesa, edit this, add a station exit, call this A1. Add an exit destination, call this the Mesa Plains or something. We'll change that later to something better if we have, because it is quite flat, just not this part. And it might actually be flat if I decide to clear that area out for some more terracotta. Anyway, now that we have that, I can add this over here, exit A Mesa Plains. And again, no entry over here. Okay, let us bring a bit of signage over here to indicate which way to go up to. I will probably go for the same 5E thing again, like so. Place our poles over there. And then over here, indicate that that is where platforms are. Or I guess just trains in general. Specifically, the Explorer's line. And over here, I can indicate that the exit is to the right, or a U-turn, I guess. So something like this. I should probably add Explorer's line over here as well, actually. Speaking of, that's the only line that's on here anyway. And once we are done with that, we can add some more signs here. And now once we're up here, we want to direct the passengers to the next bit. So to the left, we have platform number 1. And to the right, we have platform number 2 towards base other side. Yes, I forgot about this. Tricky things with signs, but you can't have 2 different platforms on the same sign. So what you could do is just stack them. Of course, I misaligned it. I think that was the even one, not the odd one. Okay, odd one coming in. There you go. And then we'll just have 2 signs like this. So this one needs to be fixed. This one is pointing to the Mushroom Island, or soon to be. And the one to the right is pointing to platform number 2. There you go. And then over here, I just want to put the simple sign indicating that it is the exit. So this goes over here, some poles and an exit sign down here. And on the other side, I think it would be helpful if we have that as well. There you go. Oh, actually, I think the arrow would be better aligned if it was like that. Let's see. Clear. Yeah. Okay, now time to figure out where to place this one. I guess I can do a 5 wide as well over here. I shouldn't say 5 wide. It's 5 tiles, which is not exactly 5 blocks. I think this will align to 4, like so. Yeah, oh, right. This is it's slabs. Oh no, it wasn't working because right. It wasn't working because we had to place them directly above these railway signs first for them to work. And now that, yeah, now we can place it above that. And this going upwards will point to platform number 2, the base other side. And over here, this will point towards the next stop, which is, yeah, now that we have walls, we can just do that. But then this will point towards the destination of the Mushroom Island, like so. And then up above here, because symmetry isn't a concern, I can just put the 2 wide sign here and just have a down arrow for the exit on both sides so people know. Well, I guess over here we would have it like that. And similarly for an exit over here, going down. All right. And I think, you might miss this exit sign if you are facing this way. So we can add another sign over here. But yeah, I said because of symmetry here, because we do have this thing, and I don't really want to have it extend over 2 blocks. Okay, going down this way is the exit. And similarly over here, going down this way is the exit. I mean, I could add another sign here, but I think that's a bit excessive. And over here, though over here it might be useful, right? Because we might not directly see that. So we can add a railway sign over here that says the exit is to the right side. There it is. And I guess similarly over here, although we don't need it, it's nice to have as well. And I think that should be sufficient signage, right? You see this, oh, it's on the right, and then you see that sign. So hopefully that's enough for you to figure it out. But yeah, I guess if you want to talk about symmetry, I guess I can also add it here. There you go. And on the other side, and on the other side as well. Okay, cool. And I think that's all the signage done for the station. Awesome. I think we can add some arrival notices on the bottom floor, or I guess both floors is fine. This will be a nice spot to put it here, blank wall. I don't remember if we have any projectors remaining. We might have. Let's take a look. Aha, we do have plenty left. Well, they're 1 by 1, so we could make them bigger. A 3 by 2, let's say. Oh, okay. It just requires 1 of each. That's nice. Well, we don't have any now, but yeah, it's going to be there. And I think it's helpful if we place another one above here, maybe over here. And maybe another one over here, like for people waiting, seating. And I guess outside would be nice as well, like up here. 3 by 2, right? Yeah. Nice. Ugh, it's a bit dark here. I do want to add something. Or maybe just a torch, actually. Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's clear this just a bit further out so that it's not blocking the way. There you go. Skim that a bit so you could see the signs even from afar. Or like there are signs there. Oh, now I notice those things. Oh no. I guess I could put in or leaves to cover it up again. Okay. Crisis averted. And I suppose it's nice to add some lighting around here. It's pretty dark. Or maybe one more in this corner. Ah, there you go. All of my stone walls. And that should be the station done. I guess we could add... Oh, last time someone told me about this. Forgot to add the Explorer's Line signs somewhere in here. Maybe we could place it on the longer side. And here we go, Explorer's Line. And the other side, Explorer's Line as well. And we're going to do this on the even side as well here. But yep, just some finishing touches. I added the staff-only sign for this entrance over here using some cobblestone walls. I also added the signs on the other side as well. No pun intended. And just some more signage when you reach the platform here, just to make sure that you're on the right platform when you are up here already. And yep, I started running the trains again, and that should be the end of this video. We are just one stop away from finishing the Explorer's Line, phase 1 at least, and that has me really excited. Look at this. Look at this line. It's almost there. But I'm really happy with how the station turned out. It's definitely quite big. I mean, it's just a normal station, but I guess it's quite high off the ground, so it ended up turning out like that. But as always, we're going to be ending the video with a ride home, or at least to Tradesville. So yeah, hope you enjoyed once again. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, God bless. And before the train comes, let's prepare for our ride, shall we? There it is, coming in 2 minutes.